Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here it's Mr. Z, your math coach. Today we're gonna spend a few time how to learn how to deal with the decimal. We will cover how to round. We will cover how to arrange decimal number from least to greatest or greatest to least. We will identify how to find the least decimal number and as well the greatest decimal number. We will learn how to round from to the nearest whole number, nearest tenth, nearest hundred and thousand. As well, we're going to learn how to convert a decimal fraction to proper fraction, or how to convert a proper fraction to a decimal number. So please go get yourself a cup of coffee because we're gonna really spend close to 30 minutes together. All right, so before we jump into it, you see we didn't talk about how to multiply decimal number, how to divide the decimal number, how to subtract, to add, because that one is going to be a focus for another video. All right, but let's talk about numbers first. On your number line, when you have like 2,563, so when you look at this number right here, this number, you read them 2,563. I mean, 2,563. So the way we read those numbers, we read this number on the plus value. We go from right to left. It means what? In any number that is a whole number, the last number, like in this one here, the number on the last place, we call that the 1. So that occupies the 1 value, 1 place value. The second last number, so right here, we call that the 10. So it means that number occupies the 10 place value. This number right here occupies the 100th place. And this right here occupy the 1,000th place. All right. So this is how you learn. This is how you learn those stuff. So as you compare them, one thing you gotta remember, it's critical that you understand those place values. Because if you don't understand them, well, it's going to be very hard for you to deal with the decimal. But this is a whole number. So understand that the number that occupies the last number, that is a 1, the second one that occupies right there, that's the 10th, and this one here, that is the 100th place, and this is the 1,000th place. Now, everything changed. Now you got always busy. So everything changed when you deal now with the decimal number. All right. So if you have to expand this, what do you see? So you got 2,000. Why? Because this is on the 1,000th place. You may just get used to say that 2,563. Why? Because you're so used to say that. But why? It's because they occupy those value right there. So that is a 2,000. Why? Because 2 is in 1,000 place. And once you do that, 2,000. Why? Because 2 is in the 1,000 place. Then you got 500. Why 500? Because 5 occupy the 100 place. Then you have 60. 6 times 10 give you 60. Then you got 3. 3 times 1 give you 3. This one here is the place value for your whole number. Now, let's change this. Let's make this directly as a decimal number. So now when you do this right here as a decimal number, so then you are here, 2, 5, 6, 3. So I want you to see the difference between this decimal number and that one which is a whole number. Now, pay attention. A decimal number, you have a point right there. You have what we call your decimal point. As you learn from here to that one, well, you read that whole number from right to left. But you're going to read your decimal number in the opposite direction. You read your decimal number. Now it'll go from left to right. Now, as you know one thing right here, the last number, that is a 1, all right? But when you come to your decimal number, the 1 does not exist. Why? Because we start directly here from your whole number. Pay attention. On your whole number, you start the last number. You call that 1. But here, we don't have no 1. It does not exist. As I tell you, from your whole number, you read that number, your place value, go from right to left. I want you to pay close attention to that. See that? So you read your number on your whole number, you read that from right to left. So the last number occupies the 1. The second one, that's the 10th. This, the 100th, that one, that's 1,000. But when you're dealing with the decimal number, we don't have a 1. And the way we read that, it go now from the place value go from left to right. All right? It means what? This 2 is what we call a whole number. Remember, I told you earlier that a fraction is a combination of a whole number plus a fractional number that is separated by a decimal point. So that number that is right there in front of your decimal point, that is your whole number, okay? Now, that number that comes right after the decimal point occupy now the 10th. The 10th with a th at the end. When you were looking at your whole number, the 10th was the second one, the second and last one. You see? 6. But when you're dealing with your decimal, your 10th is the number that comes right after the decimal. Then the number, the second number, or the number that is on the second place, we call that 100th. 100th with th at the end. And this number that is on the third place after the decimal number, all right, dear friend, we call that a thousandth. So you see, it's critical that you understand what the number that comes in the first place after decimal. This is what we call the 10th. The number that comes in the second place, we call that the 100th. The third place, we call that thousandth. The fourth place, we call that 10,000th. All right? And the number that right there in front of your decimal point, we call that the whole number. It's critical for you to know which one is your 10th place, which one is your 100th place, which one's a 1,000th place. Because when they ask you to round, you will know how to deal with it. So remember this, once we get to the topic when to round, we will explain to you that quick. So let all right. So now the question here for you is the first one is to circle which one is the greatest. I mean, which one's big. For you to compare those decimal numbers. So which one you have? I got 0.6. You just need to line them up. Then I got 0.76. Then I got 0.5. I got 0.87. Then I got 0.66. All right. Just for sake of trying to figure out which one's the biggest one, start with the whole number. You see, all of them have 0. So if you have one number that's 2 digits, go away just for the sake. We don't write no number with the trailing 0. A trailing 0, that is 0 that end a decimal number. You don't write that. But just for the sake of a comparison, you just go ahead and add it. Then, since all of them have the same whole number, to move yourself to the second place, the first place after decimal. You look at, okay? After the first place after decimal, see, I have 7 right here. All right? So I got 7. You can see, then I got 8. All right? Since that number that it's bigger on its first place or second place, you start here first. If all of them was 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, well, then the biggest one will be 7. You always compare the number on the place value after the decimal. If this number right here, since it's 8, I got 6, I got 7, I got 5, I got 8, I got 6. All right, since I got 8, all of them were 0. But when I come on the first place after the decimal number, then I found 8. So 8 right there is the biggest number. So you go ahead and circle that number right there. Okay, let's do another one. All right, so let's try this right here, number 2. So if we line them, look at, okay, so all of them have 2 on as a whole number. All right, then we're gonna move on to the next one, the next place after the first place after the decimal. You see, all of them again share again 2. You see that? All of them have 2. All right. So since I cannot make up my mind on the second place, then I move on. I'm on the first place. Now I move on to the second place. I look at on the 10th. I mean on the 100th place. Then I have here I got 6. Here I got 0. Here I got 3. There I got 4. Right here I got 0. So when I compare all those numbers, what happened? All of them share the same whole number. And all of them share the same number on the 10th place. I couldn't make up my mind. Then I move on to the 100th place. When I get to the 100th place, what happened? I got 6. There it is 0. That is 3. That is 4. That is 0. So right here, it's your biggest number. All right, so when I do one more, so hopefully let's do number 3. I say get some cup of coffee because we will spend a few time together. All right, so let's look at here. Then number 3, all of them share the same whole number. So I cannot tell from there. Then I move on. What did I tell you? When you're going to compare, since I got 3 digits, I want to make all of them 3 digits by adding 0. All right? Just remember, you don't write a trailing 0, but it's just for a sake of a comparison. So if I look at this right here, I got 6.5. I got 6.56. I got 6.654. I got 6.834. I got 6.873. As I say, since I have a number that got 3 digits, there I have only 1 digit after the decimal point. I just add 0, just for sake of comparison. Here, I add 0. Now, I have all of them lined up. But you do not write 6,500. No. You don't write no trailing zero, but we are doing this here just for sake of comparison. All right. So when we look at that now, what you got? We compare on the first line. All of them share the same number, which is 6. We cannot make up our mind. Then we move on to the next one. I look at, okay, when I come to the next tenth, that's where I'm going to make up my mind. But if all of them will share, if you look at just this right here, you know, when I come to the first place after decimal, I have 8. So 8 is the biggest one, okay? So this one here is going to be 6 is going to be the biggest one. But assume now all of them have 8. 8, 8, 8, 8. All right, so when I assume, so since I cannot make my mind on the whole number, I cannot make my mind on the 10th place, then I'm going to go to the 100th place. Then you're going to find which one is bigger. 7 is the biggest, so I'm going to go with this. Now assume that all of them were 7. All of them were 7. So now you will make up, you will move on to your next one. That's why I tell you, if you did not have a number just like this, they have 2 digits. Here they have a 3, add another 0 over there, just for sake of comparison, okay? So once you do that, then I look at it and say, I have only 2, let's call this maybe 8. So all of them share the same number. On the whole number, they are same under the 100 on the 10th place. They are same on the 100th place. Then I get to the 1000th place. When I get there, I compare 0, 0, 0, 4. I got 8. 8 is the biggest one. So this is going to be the biggest number. All right? So hopefully you are able to understand this. So now let's move on how to find when we are finding the greatest one. Now let's move on trying to find the number that has the least value. All right. Remember, you gotta do a lot of practice. Math is all about make a lot of practice. Practice make perfect. Okay. Let's work on this one. See if you can solve that. All right. Now, that's the same reality. Over there, we were trying to find which number was the greatest. Here, we're going to find the one that's the least. So, you're going to look at them, compare all of them. Let's go for number 2. So, on 2, you have a 0.345. Then you got 1.343. You got 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 3, 0, 4, 3. You got 0, 0, 3, 4. So whenever you want to compare, try first on the whole part, whole number, okay? So it means you need to find which number is smaller. That's why they mean least, the smallest one. They cannot say find the least, you go find the greatest one. No. So you compare this like this, you see, okay, well, I got 2, all of them. If I have only 1 0 over there, I didn't have this, I'll go with that. But since now, both of them compute to find which one is small. So I'm not going to go with this because they are bigger. I'm just going to deal with those 2 0. So both of them are the same. Then I'll move on here on the 10th place. On the 10th place, I need to find which one is less. So when I compare 0 and 3, 0 is less. So you will go with that one here. All right? So which one was that? Right here. Okay? This is how you're going to play with it. So let's do one more. Let's deal with this one here. 4. So you got 3, 33. Then you got 3, 3, 0, 3. Then you got 3, 0, 33. Then you got 3, 0, 0, 3. Then you got 3, 33. Then you got 3, 1, 3. Remember I told you for sake of comparing those numbers, when you have one number that have a more digit, the one that have less digit just add 0, just for sake of comparison. So let's go now. All of them share the same 3 and the whole number. I cannot make up my mind. Then you move on to where, now the first place, which is the 10th place. I need to find one is less. Since I got 0, I got those 3. Those are, I have to get rid of them because I need to find one. Since I got 2 numbers that have 0 on the 10th place, I stay with those 2. Then I cannot make up my mind on the 10th place. I move on to the 100th place. On the 100th place, I find that one is 3, that one is 0. Since I'm competing to find the last one, this gonna be your last one, the least one. So just gonna be pick up whatever raise and go and circle that. Okay. So if you look at this one here, you're gonna be 3, 0, 0, 3. So this is how you deal with that. Okay. Now, same thing. Now they can ask you to play with your mind is how to sort. They can ask you now, sort this number from least to greatest. Okay, question like this, dear friend, it means what? It means that you have to arrange those numbers, starting from small number, this one here, least to greatest, small number to the biggest one. So you have yourself to compare them, find the smallest one, and start to arrange them. So let's do number 2. Okay, so number 2, we got 0, 3, 4, 5. I got 1, 3, 4, 3. We got 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you got 3, 0, 4, 3. Then we got 0, 0, 0. Let's say 0, 3, 4. Okay? So let's make sure that we line up those numbers good. So we got 2, 3. So here we need to arrange those numbers from least to greatest. Okay? It means what? You need to get the first one. You look at them, go on the whole number. I got 0, all of them they are computing. Then I gotta go compare them to the first place, which is the 10. This is the smallest one, okay? So this one here is gonna be number 1. Then this, since it's less, it's gonna be number 2. Then we're gonna compute here. We go to the whole number. 1 is less than 2. Since 1 is less than 3, 1 is gonna be number 3. 2 is less than 3. So this one here is gonna be number 4. This is gonna be number 5. So once you line up, then it's gonna be 0.034. Next one is gonna be 0.345. Then it's gonna be 1.343. Then it's gonna be 2.345. Then it's gonna be 3.043. Okay? This is how you learn how to arrange those numbers. Okay? All right. Same thing you will do if you have to arrange that number from greatest to the least one. It means what? It means you will have to do that, arrange that number, starting from the biggest number to the smallest number. Okay? So I do believe you can work this. Let's pick number 2. Okay? So if you look at this number 2, go ahead. If you cannot do that mentally, then just line up them. So line them up so you will have no problem as you compare them. So I got 2, 2, 3. Then I got 2, 2, 4, 5. Then I have a 2. I got 2. I got 2. I got 0. We say go ahead and add the 0 just for sake of comparison. You don't write those on your answer like that. All right, so we gotta go from the biggest number to the smallest one. So let's look at all of them share 2. All of them share 2 on the 10th place. Then we go on the hundredth place. So we know we got 6 is bigger than them. So 6 is gonna be number 1. Then after that, I got 4. Correct? 4 is gonna be number 2. 3 is gonna be number 3. Then I gotta compare 0, 0, they're all the same. Then I move on to the 10th place, to the 100th, to the 1000th place. On the 1000th place, this is bigger compared to that one. So this is gonna be number 4. That is gonna be number 5. So this is how you're gonna line them up from the biggest to the smaller one. So you're gonna start with this first, then that one, number 3, number 4, number 5. All right. So this is come when you do more practice and more exercise. Okay. All right. So let's convert now, as we say. Let's learn how to convert a decimal fraction to a proper fraction. Just a quick recap. Which one we call a proper fraction? A proper fraction is a fraction where the numerator is less than the denominator. Okay? Now, improper fraction is when the numerator is bigger than the denominator. We call that improper fraction. A mixed number now, it's a combination of a whole number and a proper fraction. All right, so that one just a recap. So right here, we're gonna change this decimal fraction to a proper fraction. Any fraction can be written as a decimal fraction. I want you guys to understand that. So the easy way to do that, so you have 0, 4, 3, 4. All right, the first thing to do, go ahead, put 1 over there. Make sense? All right. Why? Because we are trying to express that as a fraction. Any number divided by 1 gives you the same number. So you shouldn't worry about that one. So any number divided by 1, it's the same number. Then ask yourself, how many digits do you have? Since I have a digit, I will have to multiply both top and the bottom by 1000. Where the 1000 come, it comes from because I am trying to make this as a fraction, as a proper fraction. All right, I have to make this. I have to get rid of this decimal. To get rid of decimal, I needed to multiply it by 3 zeros. When the first 0 gonna move that here, the second 0 the first 0 gonna move the decimal over there. The second 0 you're gonna move that here. The third 0 gonna move the decimal here. So it's gonna make my number, it's a whole number. But Mr. Ziba, why did you choose 1000 instead of 100? Because if I do 100, my decimal point is gonna move here. We don't want it. We want that decimal number to be cancelled, to be out of the picture. So since you got 3, 1, 2, 3, you multiply that by 1000. Here too, you multiply that by 1000. So the number of places after the decimal point will dictate how many zeros you're gonna use. So when I do that, then if you do not know this, use your calculator. 434 times 1000, I got have 434. 1 times 1000, I got 1000. Now, if you can simplify this, use your calculator and go ahead and simplify. All right. Always remember, any number end up with 0 or whole number can be divided by 2. So get 434, divide that by 2. You got 217. You got 217 over 500. All right. So this is how you convert any decimal number to a fraction. Okay. So let us see if we can convert to another one. Okay, let's pick number 3, 078. What did I say? Put 1 over there. All right. go ahead and put 1 over there, and then do what? How many numbers after the decimal? 2, 1, 2. So I'm going to multiply by 100. You see now, those numbers after the decimal is telling you if you're going to use, if it's 2 numbers, you multiply by 100. If it's 1 number, multiply by 10. If it's 3, multiply by 1,000. If it's 4, multiply by 10,000. Correct? So when I do this right here, I have what? I got 78 over 100. So when I divide both by 2 over there, all right, if you do 78 divided by 3, you're going to have a 39. Mr. Z, how do you know that? I just do that from my brain. You know? So 39 times 2, it gives you 78. So that is how you convert a decimal fraction to a proper fraction. If you have to reduce, go ahead and reduce that. Okay? All right, so let's move on and then try to do, we're going to do another one. All right, so once again, you get more practice. More you're working on that one, the more you get practice and you understand that. Okay, so now let's deal with how to change the proper fraction to a decimal fraction. Whenever they give you proper fraction, what did we say? A proper fraction is a fraction that's the top number is less than the denominator. So only thing you have to do, get your calculator, divide 3 by 5. When you divide 3 by 5, you will have 0.6. This is exactly what the meant. Convert your proper fraction to a decimal fraction. All right? You got it? So you get that one, 3 divided by 6. 3 divided by 5 will give you 0. You will do the same thing with the 4 divided by 7. You use your calculator and then go ahead. All right? This is how you learn how to compare the 4 divided by 7. Then, so once you do that, you will see you have a lot of number, 57, 14. This thing right there is bringing us to our next topic, how to round. It's critical because like in a situation like this, you got 4 divided by 7, you got 0.57, you got 14, you got 28, you got 571. Now, if the instructor tells you stop on your first place after your decimal point, it means you have to stop here. Then you have to know which one you're supposed to do before you can stop. So that brings us now to how to round. Remember the example of 4, 7. We're going to go over that in a few seconds. Okay, let's now deal on how to round. Rounding, dear friend, is critical because if you don't understand how to round with the precision, you can create a lot of mad error and you can create more problem. All right. So remember what we learned earlier. I told you when you have a number like this, 2, 6, 7, 8. We talk about that. All right. When you have a number like that, I say any decimal number, you're supposed to read it. You're going to read that from left to right. I say the first number before the decimal, we call that a whole number. Then the number that comes right after the decimal point that occupies the first place after the decimal point, we call that a tenth. Then the second place after the decimal, we call that the hundredth. Then the third place, we call that thousandth. The fourth one, and so on, we call that this right here is going to be what? It's going to be 10,000, and so on. It's critical that you understand where is your 10th place, where is your 100th place, your 1000th place, and so on. Because like here, They are telling you round the following to the nearest tenth. So if you do not understand where your tenth is, dear friend, you're not going to get the correct result. Okay, but how do we round? Now, if they're in this exercise, if they're telling you round to the nearest tenth, so first of all, you need to identify where is your tenth. This is my tenth. All right? So you have to identify first. Okay? They say round to the nearest tenth. So this is my tenth right there. Now, two things will happen. You have to look the number that comes right after that. If that number is a 5 or greater, you're going to bring this number upward. You bring this to the next one. So what is the next of 2.4? After 4, what comes after 4? It's 5. Because the number after 4 is 5 or greater, we move this number up. So it's if this way here, if we have to stop this to nearest tenth, it's going to be 2.5. Now, assuming instead of 6, okay, instead of 6, you had right here, you got 3. So since we need to stop at the 10th place, and the number after the 10th place is less than the 5, we will drop everything, and this will remain 2.4. You got it? So this is how you learn how to round. All right, so let's go here. We have a 0.434, correct? They say round this to the nearest tenth. Okay, so my 10th place is what? It's a 4. Then you look at the number that comes after 4. If that number is less than 5, drop everything. So this one here is going to be 0.4. Does it make sense? Why? But Mr. Z, why? Well, it's because we got to stop on the nearest tenth. My tenth is 4. The tenth is the first place after the decimal. The number come after it will dictate its behavior. Since that number is less than 5, I drop everything. I drop the 34. I just keep a 0.4. Why? Because they say round it to the nearest 10. It means your number must stop there at the 10th place. But before you write that number, look at the number come after that. If that number is 5, you bring this to 0.5. Since if it's less, you leave that to 0.1. Let us do this one here. All right, my 10th place is 8. The number come after that is 5 or more. So this is going to be 1.9. Let's come here. The number after 4 is 5 or more. So I'm going to bring a 4 to the next one, which is going to be 4.5. This one here is a 393. The number after the 9 place, the 10th place, which is 9, is less than the 5. So I'm going to drop everything. It will be 3.9. So let's look at the number. Let's look at number 5. On number 5, you have 3955. What do you have? See, I got 5. My 10th place is 3.9. I got 5 over there. As a consequence, since I have a 5 over there, this here, the number after 9 is a 5 or greater. So I'm going to bring this to the next one. Now be careful, since I got 3.9. When I bring this to the next one, a 9, you'll become a 10. So I have a 0. The other one's going to go here on the top, which is going to make it a 4. Do not write 4.0. Just write 4 because you do not write trailing number. But Mr. Z, we've seen you writing a 0. Yes, I did. That one was just for sake of comparison. I told you. That one was for sake of comparison. But when you write something on your answer, you do not write a trailing 0. Why? Because if you wear glasses like me, the doctor put a 4.0. If you don't pay attention, you may see that as 40. Instead of giving someone a 40 4 milliliter, you give someone 40, you can kill someone. So pay attention on that one. So, okay. So here, another way you can pay attention, it's you look at that number, we have to stop here on the 3.9. One number come after 3.9 is 4. This is how you look at it. right? The number that comes after 3.9, when you add 1, it's 4. It's all about adding 1 to move down to the next one. Okay? All right. So you bring this one here to the next one. Okay, let's now look at the other one. How to round to the nearest how to round to the nearest now 100. Once again, dear friend, you gotta be able to identify where is your 100 place is. We talk about that. Okay, we say your 100 place is what? It's the number that come right after the second place after decimal. That's what we call a 100th place. So the first one is the 10th, the second one is the 100th place. So we're gonna stop right there. You look at the number after that, it's 4. As a consequence, we're gonna drop 4. Our answer is gonna be 489. All right? Then let's look at this thing right here. You got 0.9995. So this right here, my 100 place is the second 9. The number after that, it's 5. So we're gonna bring 0.99